Okay, so now that my bird is ready, I want to show you what we're working with. This is wheat paste. I've already checked with the nurse that none of you have a gluten allergy or an allergy to wheat, so this should be just fine for us to use with our hands. It does get very, 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 very slimy. So what you want first to have is you want to have a piece of construction paper. I will hand them out. There should be like, I don't know, like 6 maybe less, maybe 4. So I'm gonna have these 4. Before you get started, it's very important that you write your initials. So I'm TC and your class 5Z on each and every one of those pieces of paper. TC 5Z, TC 5Z, and TC 5Z. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. This is going to be the last part when we have to put our names on it. So I have my bird right here. I just taped, you just saw me tape this wire hanger onto it. These are eventually going to be the legs. They aren't going to be this long, so don't worry about that. They're going to be like to here, and then the rest is going to be the foot. So you don't have to worry about them being too long. You do have to worry about it kind of balancing. Like mine's a little top heavy over here, so I'm going to have to worry about positioning the legs so that it is able to stand. So now I have the wheat paste in here. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Okay, so you want to have a lot of strips to use. So this paper, it rips really easy when you're going that way. It does not rip easy when you're going this way. It's kind of a pain. So try to do it all the long way down. These strips are too big for you. You could just do them in half later on. Okay, so all the way down, all the way down. You don't want them to be more than like 1.5 inches maybe wide. Okay, I have a couple there. I'm gonna do a bunch. I'll be right back. Okay, so I probably tore up about 5 papers worth, and I'm going to put them in half and then put them in quarters. So you want them to be smaller because the smaller pieces will wrap nicely around your form. If they're really large pieces, like one of these is really large. Let me get this one. Okay, if they're really large pieces like this, it's not going to conform to your bird's form. It's going to mess it up. It's going to leave lots of wrinkles. It's going to be messy looking. So we don't want that. We want smaller pieces that we can overlap. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to dip one side, dip the other side, and then I'm going to use, here, let me move this closer. I'm going to use my fingers like squeegees, and I'm going to do one on each side, and then I'm going to squeegee all the excess stuff off and wipe it on the side of the thing. Okay, so now this is the perfect amount of mache. I'm going to put it anywhere. You could start anywhere. The thing is, you really want to press it down. Press, press, press. Okay, I'm going to take the next one side, the other side, squeegee. And then I'm going to overlap the last one that I did and make sure they're all pressed into each other. Okay, I'm going to go one side, the other side, squeegee. If you don't squeegee, what happens is there is too much wetness on your bird and it will mold. It will not dry, and it ends up molding, and it's really bad, and we have to throw it out. So please squeegee. I'm going to go one side, I'm going to go the other side, and then squeegee. Then I'm going to overlap. I'm always overlapping the last one that I did. You see how this is a little dry? I might want to just get some on my fingers to wet that a bit, because that's where I was holding it with my hand. And just make sure it is nice and flat to the form. See how I picked that up? My finger is wet, so I just picked it up because you only want one piece at a time. So the wetness of my finger, squeegee, is only going to pick up the top piece. So now I'm going to overlap. I'm going to go around here, overlap, Okay, now that it's all done, I'm going, one layer is all done. I'm going to go around and make sure everything is pressed nice and flat. So press, press, press all the time. That's standing up a little bit. I gotta flatten it. If you flatten it and make like a little wrinkle, that's fine as long as it's flat. The head is very difficult to flatten, just so you know, very difficult. So now that's one layer. We have to do at least 2 layers, but the next layer is a little easier. You're gonna use a paper towel. I'm using a tissue because I don't have paper towels like we have at school. So I'm gonna cut this in half because your paper towel should be cut in half too. Now this is much easier to use. That's why we're using a bigger piece. It covers, we can use a bigger piece because it's flimsy. It's, here, I'm gonna put it on and I'll show you. I did not squeegee that, by the way. But the outside of my bird was already nice and wet from the first layer. I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything lays flat. See how we could use a bigger piece with paper towel because it's so flimsy, it just molds to whatever you mold it to. So it doesn't give a lot of strength, but it also will keep the form. So we do the paper to give it more strength, and then in between that we do this to get the form down. Okay, now I need another piece. And you know what? I'm just going to wet my bird first, where I'm going to put it, and then I'm going to lay the dry paper towel on top of it because I think that will work. So let's see. I'm going to lay this on top. And we're switching between materials so that we can tell how many layers we are doing. So I can tell what I haven't done with the paper towel. I can tell what I have done with the paper towel. And then when we're on paper, I could tell what I have done with the paper towel because it's different than the paper towel, or it's different than the paper. So it's good to know what layer you're on because you only want about 3 layers. If you get to that. If you don't get to 3 and you only have 1 paper and 1 paper towel, that's okay. You'll probably be fine, and if you're not fine, we can fix it with tape later on. Okay, I need more paper towel, which I'm using tissue. Need to cut that. It's better if you pre-cut these because now I'm all goopy. And I'll get going with that. In fact, I don't need the whole thing. Now, once you are done, I only did 2, but you're going to try to do 3. Once you're done, you're going to put some paste on those pieces of paper that you had. Get them nice and wet in your hands first, and then put them on your bird, wherever you need to put them on your bird. So I'm going to put one right here. In case one falls off, you have another one showing. I can't even tell you how many times people have taken the wrong paper mache thing. I've never done birds before, but I've done other paper mache. And people always take the wrong one because they never can tell which one is theirs. Oh, I didn't wet that one first, so now it's sticking up too much. It's harder to adhere. Okay, that's pretty good for 3, just having 3. Okay, so you have to go back and forth, paper towel, then paper towel, and yours should end up looking something like this. If you have anything that is popping up, please push it down before you put it away. Okay, I'm gonna have, I don't know what I'm gonna have to have these dry. Probably just the placemat, that's the world map placemats, and we'll just set them on there. Okay, then wash your hands. Clean up your table. You probably made a mess. Throw out any of the papers that you didn't use. It's better to have more than to have less. So have fun.